Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our featured bout. It is scheduled for 12 rounds and will be for the Commonwealth and WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Championships. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red, Foot Asylum, and Unibet. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Steward in Charge Guy Williamson, along with the World Boxing Organization, President Francisco Paco Valcarcel, Supervisor Robert W. Smith, CBC Supervisor is Debbie Down, our timekeeper is Steve Pucci. Our 3 judges assigned, all from England, will be Howard Foster, Steve Gray, and Ian John Lewis. Our referee in charge, third man in the ring, will be Bob Williams of England. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived. From the Copper Box Arena in London, England, this is our Fight Night Live main event of the evening. Introducing to you first the challenger fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with orange and weighed in at 12 stone 6 pounds. Hailing from Ilford, London, England, he has a professional record of 21 wins, 2 defeats, with 20 of his 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former world title challenger, Anthony, the Beast from the East, Yarde. And his opponent across the ring in this main event, he is the defending champion, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing black, gray, and yellow, and weighed in at 12 stone 5 pounds. Coming to us from Moston, Manchester, England, he is undefeated with 19 wins. 13 of his 19 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending Commonwealth and WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Champion, Lyndon King Arthur.
Okay, lads, obey my commands. In the event of a knockdown, the fighter standing will go to the furthest neutral corner and stay there. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves.
So we're all set. The main event. We're really looking forward to this one. And what a contrast at the ring announcements from MC Thomas Triber. Yarde was prowling around the ring and Lyndon Arthur was knelt down in his corner. He's been cool, calm and collected all week in the build-up. Anthony Yarde is the man with a point to prove, and 364 days after Lyndon Arthur's split decision victory in Westminster, here we are at the Copper Box in East London for the rematch. The bookmakers can't really split them. Arthur starts as a very slight underdog, but there are so many layers to this one, Richie. Can Anthony Yarde fight his fight tonight, something he couldn't do last December? And will 2 hands be better than 1 for Lyndon Arthur?
Well, they should be, but straight away, Anthony Yarde on that front foot. So it's a case of starting off where he left off in that contest almost a year ago. He had a great last round, remember, did Anthony Yarde last time out.
He's come out aggressively and fast, Anthony Yarde, which has been a feature of his career so far. It took him until the 4th round when they met last year to land his first meaningful right hand. He certainly set out to fight a different fight tonight, something that Lyndon Arthur's expected. They've talked about it. Pat Barrett is training himself in the build-up. They've said all along that this is the way that Anthony Yarde's going to fight tonight.
They will expect the Lyndon Arthur camp will expect a quicker start, most definitely, from Anthony Yarde, and that's what we've got here. So Lyndon Arthur, again, he's got to control things with his jab, try and box at distance and keep his man at bay. But Anthony Yarde, totally the opposite, closing that gap down, getting to Lyndon Arthur, targeting the right hand because of the low lead hand that Lyndon Arthur has got.
Lyndon Arthur in the black and yellow, the black and orange for Anthony Yarde, who's trying to detonate the right hands early. Lyndon Arthur beckons him in.
Totally different start,
Arthur
isn't it?
unbeaten. Anthony Yarde has only lost to Sergei Kovalev and to Lyndon Arthur in the first fight, and this is totally different. Brilliant right-hand shot from Yarde. Early concerns here for Lyndon Arthur.
Big shot. Big shot, Fletch. That was right hand from Anthony Yarde. Bang on the button, and it's a positive start for Anthony Yarde.
Arthur took it. How much it hurts him, only he knows. He's got to get to work behind that left jab that was the feature for him when they met for the first time. He's not been allowed to throw it so far due to the ferocious start that Anthony Yarde's made.
Well, Yarde's closed the distance and gap down very quickly, hasn't he? He's learned from that first contest. Arthur was brilliant in the first contest, keeping his distance, boxing behind the jab.
Excellent jab that went in there from Arthur, Richie. He got a good right hand of his own in there as well. Frank Warren promised this would be explosive. It looks like he's right.
Totally different start, isn't it, from Anthony Yarde on that front foot, closing the gap down. Knows he's got to get to Lyndon Arthur. So yeah, tactically, he's got it spot on at this stage.
There's the left jab from Lyndon Arthur that was so good at keeping Anthony Yarde at bay the first time around.
Arthur's got to watch out for that low lead hand. He gets caught again. Big right hand from Yarde again.
It's always difficult to tell what Lyndon Arthur's feeling in there because he's so laid back and he's always got that nice, calm, serene look on his face. But that was the first round we were expecting and the first round that Anthony Yarde wanted.
And that was also, Darren, if I could say, that was the...
Let's bring in Steve Bunce here at the end of the first round. Steve, that was an explosive start from Anthony Yarde. We expected it, didn't we?
We did expect it. It was round 13. In all fairness, in that round, Yarde threw more punches to body and head, used his brain more, and was more effective than he was in at least the first 6 or 7 rounds of the first fight. That was the Anthony Yarde we expected last year at Church House. We finally got it tonight, and it set us up for 11 remaining rounds. It's going to be furious.
Great start there from Anthony Yarde, trapping right hand.
So let's see what the second round has in store. It's been spiky in the build-up, more so between the trainers, Pat Barrett and Tunde Ajayi, than the two fighters. Lyndon Arthur's come out here nice and aggressive at the start of the second half, popping out that left jab, and he's going to try and land more right hands tonight. Couldn't throw it really in the first fight because it was badly damaged.
When Anthony Yarde hesitates and he waits, that's when he allows Lyndon Arthur just to pop that jab out. He's got to be first as Anthony Yarde if he's going to win this contest on that front foot. He's got to beat Arthur to the punch. He's got to be first. If he hesitates, if he slows down, that allows Arthur just to control things with that jab.
Anthony Yarde said that he needs to be himself tonight, fight his fight. The early indications are that he's going to do that. Lyndon Arthur said that Yarde has to knock him out to win, and he's confident that he can go at whatever pace Anthony Yarde wants to set. But that's a big unknown, really, in many ways, Richie, whether he can actually do that. It's certainly a different set of circumstances already than we had a year ago.
Well, Yarde has set the pace, hasn't he, in the contest so far. He's quickened things up. We said he needed to do things differently, and he started very well. Can he maintain it? How's it going to affect the old gas tank? That's always been the question mark with Anthony Yarde as well. As if he goes into the later rounds, what's his stamina like? And that's what Lyndon Arthur will hope. He'll hope to take him into those latter rounds.
Both of them seem intent on throwing hard shots and landing big punches here. Just over a minute to go in the second round, scheduled for 12. Commonwealth and WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight titles on the line. More importantly, a shot at the winner of Callum Johnson and Joe Smith, who fight in January. quieter from Anthony Yarde in this round. Lyndon Arthur getting behind that jab and keeping him at bay.
Scrappy on the inside, it's a bit of a stalemate. There's that quick jab from Arthur, but still thrown from the hip. And Yarde has got to target that right-hand counter over the top. Got to get his timing right as Arthur throws it.
He tried the big uppercut himself there, Lyndon Arthur, and missed the target. A lot of wrestling, a lot of work on the inside, and that's the end of the second round here at the Copper Box.
Listen to me. Don't play this game, yeah. Right? It's keep coming, yeah. But dictate to, you understand me? Yeah. Do him right and let him come and hold him and turn him up. But bend the knees, don't go square to try to throw it in the middle. Go with him. Short punches down the side. Okay? It's like uppercuts there, son. Let's get some of this power. Let's start putting back. Don't drop the jab. Yeah?
Welcome back to the Copper Box. 2 rounds in the book. Pat Barrett in discussion with his man, Lyndon Arthur. Unbeaten over 5 years as a professional. Grew up on the Moston estate in North Manchester, still lives there. Anthony Yarde, who's only gone the distance once, and that was in defeat to Lyndon Arthur a year ago. He only had 12 amateur fights, but he tells everybody that he lives like an athlete 24/7. Little short left-hand punch got through there from Anthony Yarde. It was short but really sharp and pretty effective too, Richie.
I think his speed is impressive in this contest up to now. Anthony Yarde seems to be quicker off the mark. Another good right hand, and again Arthur's got to move off those ropes.
Can't get trapped over there, Lyndon Arthur. It's been a good start from Anthony Yarde. Throwing punches with power to head and body. It's a good shot again from Anthony Yarde.
Again, quicker off the mark, isn't he? Fast shots.
Well, Lyndon Arthur's just leaned over the top rope, and I think he had something to say to Steve Bunce. We'll try and find out what that was between rounds, but he's certainly not lacking the confidence in there. Whatever's coming from Anthony Yarde hasn't shaken his belief or his character. Arthur tried to sneak that right hand of his own through there.
Yeah, first and third there, wasn't he? Arthur tried the jab, waited for the response from Anthony Yarde, and then Arthur comes back with the right hand not too far away. But it's a different approach from Anthony Yarde on that front foot, waiting for the jabs of his opponent. That's not a bad shot there from Lyndon Arthur.
And again on the forehead, that was a good one too. Yarde tries to follow up with an uppercut of his own. He did say, didn't he, in the build-up, Lyndon Arthur, that maybe Anthony Yarde's underestimated his power. He feels that he can do damage to Yarde if he lands the right punch in there.
Sorry, Fletcher, I think that's what he needs to do more of there, Anthony Yarde. Move his head as he's coming forward.
Really good work between the pair of them. Good shots from Anthony Yarde. Lyndon Arthur struggling to keep him off at the moment. Yarde just missing with the uppercut, and there's respect at the end of the round. It was another good one, Steve Bunce.
I think that was the best round they fought so far. The 12 we had last year, 364 days ago, and the two completed rounds they've had here, that was the best round they've had.
He still found time to speak to you during the round, Lyndon Arthur.
It's been an ongoing conversation for the last 365 days, Fletch. Expect more of it. That was really serious. He came, I thought Yarde pushed him there. There he is having a chat with me there. He said, Buncey, you said I would lose last time. What say you this time? It's not as simple as that. I tell you what I did like there is some of the stuff that Lyndon Arthur did. Not just the headshots. He scored some fantastic body shots, Lyndon. Only 2 or 3, and that's all you need at this level, Rich, because they're quality. Just 1 or 2.
Yeah, did some good work. Also some good work from Yarde on that front foot. I think Yarde's speed is different. It's more effective. I got him 2 rounds to 1 up.
Round 4.
Richie's scorecard rewarding Anthony Yarde with 2 of the first 3 rounds here. I must say, when you look at the face of Lyndon Arthur, even in the heat of battle, he looks as though he's gone for a steady stroll around the local park. It's a face that belies the intensity that burns inside him on a night like this. A little bit low from Anthony Yarde.
You can see Yarde wants to box up close, mid and short range. Arthur's got to try and concentrate on that mid and long range. He's got to keep his distance, but it's Yarde that's closing the gap quicker, so he's moving into his stronger territory, which is that mid and short. That's what's happening here. Arthur's not so effective with the jab, but that's what he's got to get back to try and doing. Jab, long straight right hand, and keep a gap. But Yarde, see, that's better, you see, from Arthur. And there, the response from Yarde is on that front foot.
Yarde shook the punch off and then fires back with punches of his own, and he's putting them together in combinations. Uppercuts getting through the guard. Lyndon Arthur on the ropes, trying to tie Anthony Yarde up, but he's so aggressive in there tonight. Throwing his punches with bad intentions and backing Lyndon Arthur into a corner.
Sustained pressure from Anthony Yarde. Can Lyndon Arthur weather the storm? Big shots going in. That was a big left hook and another right hand.
Lyndon Arthur's down. Anthony Yarde puts him down with a chopping right hand in the 4th round. And he's finished. It's over. Anthony Yarde has won it. Well, Anthony Yarde said the Lions were coming, and boy, they came tonight at the copper box. He's taken Lyndon Arthur apart, and Anthony Yarde is the new Commonwealth and WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Champion, and he's just taken a giant stride towards a world title shot.
Tremendous performance there from Anthony Yarde, totally different, very, very quick, put his punches together there, kept Lyndon Arthur on the ropes, hurt him downstairs, uppercuts went in, left hooks went in. It was a cracking finish. Steve, that was an impressive Anthony Yarde. We knew he had to do things differently, and right from the opening bell, he was a different animal altogether.
He never gave Lyndon Arthur a chance to settle, even when Arthur tried to jab long. If you like, Arthur caught him with a shot, Anthony Yarde came back with 3 or 4. The body shots were, I think, the crucial element. He started to hurt him with body shots, and then he got him. He's letting his punches go all the way through. He fought that fight like he didn't care about round 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. He didn't care about all the stories about how his stamina folds. He didn't care that Lyndon Arthur might put him on the end of the jab. He fought that round like every round was his last round, Fletch. Every round there was the final round.
He was true to himself. He said in the build-up that he'd got to fight his fight tonight, and he fought an Anthony Yarde fight, and when the opportunity presented itself, Richie, he was clinical.
He was indeed, and that's a cracking picture there. Pat Barrett, the trainer, and Tunji Aji, because they've had a bit of beef before this one. And there's the 2 boxers, arm in arm also, total respect for each other. But it's Anthony Yarde's night tonight. But that's a cracker, Steve. That is that picture there.
It's an interesting thing. I want to see the ending again. I want to see it in real time. I want to get an understanding. It's been ruled a knockout, so that means he's counted him out. There was pandemonium when he went down. I thought he maybe just beat the count. The referee, Bob Williams, didn't. I think it's been ruled a knockout, a straightforward 10 knockout.
Well, Bob Williams is an experienced referee, and he's looked into his eyes.
He knows, Rich.
Yeah, he knows, and you know, it's all right us saying here whether he would have got through that, but Bob Williams. Let's have a look at the finish there. So there's a good body shot. There's that right hand over the top. And he really goes for it here. Good left hook there. And puts the combinations together well. Couple of great uppercuts. And he wouldn't let Lyndon Arthur off the hook. Chin on the chest job, looking for the opportunities and the openings. Big uppercut there from him. Left hook's going into the body. That was a super shot, that solar plexus punch. Also the left hook, and then the right hand to finish it. And Bob Williams is close, and he's looked into his eyes, and he couldn't recover.
Steve, the penultimate punch there, the body shot, froze Lyndon Arthur in his tracks, and it allowed Anthony Yarde for the final knockout punch that ended the fight.
Because that's not round the back of the elbows, that's straight in the middle, in the solar plexus, takes everything out of him, and he gets dropped. So when he goes down on his knees there, he turns over to his knees quite quick. Let's get that right. And that's when I think he might have just beaten the count.
Well, the good news is that Lyndon Arthur is up on his feet. They've just made sure that he's okay in the corner over there. Anthony Yarde and his team are over there with him. But it's good to see Lyndon Arthur back up here, Richie.
Yes, of course. You know, he took some big shots there, but he's back on his feet. Obviously very hurt from those body shots. And like I said, Anthony Yarde would not let him off the hook. And there's Tunde Ajayi there talking to Lyndon Arthur. It's 1-1. Will we see a trilogy, Steve? But in that sense, I mean, that was so convincing there.
Why not? You know, how about this? Okay, I'm going to say this now. What if Lyndon Arthur has had a bad camp? What if Lyndon Arthur, if it's not gone the way he wanted it to go? If he can come up with that, that's great. If, however, it ends the way it looked like it ended, with him being on the floor, getting onto his knees, and then not beating the count, it's hard then to make a case for a rematch.
Well, there's been a lot set between the two camps in the build-up. The fighters backed off a little bit. He was left to Pat Barrett and Tunde Ajayi to get stuck into each other at the press conference. But it's really good to see the love and mutual respect tonight. But look at the face of Anthony Yarde. He knows just how important tonight was for him in terms of his career. Defeat tonight, and it would have been such a long way back. But when he had to deliver, he delivered. And he gets the knockout victory tonight against Lyndon Arthur here at the Copper Box. So let's get confirmation of the official result tonight. The top of the bill from MC Thomas Triber.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 1 minute, 27 seconds of round number 4. Your winner by way of knockout and new Commonwealth and WBO Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Champion, Anthony the Beast from the East, Yarde.
Victory for Anthony Yarde against Lyndon Arthur, and the next fight for him might just be a world title fight. Brilliant performance from Anthony Yarde. He was savage in the end, Paul.